back to the DMG's Third and Long YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm joined today by Dylan and Gage. Fellas, how's it going?
It's going really good. What you guys missed in the last, 15 minutes is us arguing about our power rankings, and we've established that the Colts suck. So, and Mikey laughs, but we just don't even bring up the Patriots because they're not even viable to bring up. I mean, you have to be, not the third best team in your division for that to matter. So,
yeah.
As the Browns were the third best in their division last year.
Listen, baby.
The Colts were second best. So,
It's a new year.
Actually, just wait until you win a game. Thank you. Bye.
I just think it's funny that you're talking crap, but I'm pretty sure the Browns are the team that won the playoff game last.
Doesn't matter.
Let's go.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, I'm doing
good.
Gage gets very insecure about his Browns, so he has to act like this sometimes. So, anyways, I'm excited for the sleeper video that we're doing right now.
Yeah,
not the power ranking video.
This one right here that we're doing. Yep. But
that power ranking video is going to come out after the draft, so stay tuned to that, and then we're going to update that later on. But we dug around and we found some guys. We got some people that should get drafted higher, but for some reason they're being projected a lot lower than we feel they should be.
And not just that, like even if they are drafted in those rounds, players that can be contributors to their team year one, players that can help your team.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yep.
But
I'm sure we might also end up doing a 2.0 to this too, as we find.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that as well. But
this isn't our top 5, we should say. These are just 5 guys that we found. But
all right, we're going to jump right in. But before that, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We see that 92% of you guys that watch this video are not subscribed. So hit the subscribe button. Be a part of the movement. Catch the vibe that's going on around here, basically. But we're going to jump in right here with number 1, Khalil Shakir.
So we got wide receiver Khalil Shakir from the Boise State Broncos. He's a 6 foot flat, 196 pound, 200 pound wide receiver. You hear his name, right? Like often when people talk about wide receivers, but it's just kind of like in passing. Like they don't ever like really praise him. They just kind of. There's also Shakir or something, and then you move on. I think if he had a different uniform on, it'd be a big difference. He's a stud by every aspect of the way. I mean, he was Boise State's like number 1 dude. Yeah, you can see his stats that he put up right there. 77 receptions, 1,100 yards, averaged over a first down every catch. He had 7 touchdowns, almost 300 yards of yak, and the passer rating when thrown at him was 132.1, which is well above perfect. And he had a PFF wide receiver grade of 85.1, which was 3rd. He's a 4.4 flat dude. And I think that's really good, especially since the fact that he's not going to be your outside receiver. He's going to be your slot guy. And he works very well in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing with Khalil, at least as far as what I've seen, is that people don't expect him to be the wide receiver 1X, kind of like the Julio prototype or whatever. But in the days in the NFL now, have like a spread offense in a lot of areas where wide receivers they play all sorts of different positions now. I feel like Khalil Shakir with the ball in his hand is very good, and he makes a lot of plays. But I think the thing really encouraging for him is that he was the dominant player and got the dominant attention from the other defense, and he still balled out. So I think that speaks a lot to him as well.
Yeah, and he may not have those like quote unquote elite, big time, like ability or traits that a lot of wide receivers do, that you potentially look at. What does matter is the way he works the field. He can run every route, and that's not an exaggeration. He does run every route, and it's not sloppy. They're crisp routes. He's got a very low center of gravity. He cuts and shifts very quickly. He looks skinny, but he's not afraid of contact. He's constantly getting hit. And in this draft, he is the best concentration catch wide receiver, period. The dude's body control and able to catch the ball is unreal. You should go look at a highlight video and you can see how he contorts his body multiple times to just catch the ball. It's like he uses his eyes and his hands, and then the rest of his body just flips however it is, because those are going where the ball's going. I think he's going to be a great contributor. Obviously, he's not like a first-round pick. But, Mikey, if you push forward, we've got him projected in the 3rd to 4th round. I think that's where he's going to end up going, which I think is fair. I mean, production in the draft does not... Like, production in the NFL does not always accumulate to the draft. The draft is much more, what can you give me? It's not like, what are you going to give me right now? What could you give me later on? So, with him, pretty much what he is right now is what you're going to get in the NFL. There's not a lot of growth that you're going to get from him, so... But I would be happy if any team got him in the 3rd or 4th round. That would be a good pickup for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the second one.
We got Kirby Joseph out of Illinois, Fighting Illini. Anyway, sorry, we got an inside. But Kirby Joseph, he's going to be mainly because of his skills as a safety. The position is undervalued right now, so a lot of these safeties are going to be producing higher than their round that they get drafted in and things like that. But one of the players that he kind of reminds me of as far as his ability to make an impact right away is Justin Reed. He was a safety taken by the Texans in the 3rd round the year that he was drafted, and he played the whole year like he was a first-round pick or that. So he's got a lot of potential behind him, but I know Gage likes him a little bit more since the Browns need a safety.
Yeah, I've looked into him quite a bit, and I enjoy like the Senior Bowl. I like seeing those, maybe because I'm a Boise State fan and they always go there, so like I get to watch them extra. But in the Senior Bowl, he killed it. He established himself as one of like the best defensive backs in this draft. He actually probably was the best defensive back at the Senior Bowl, performance-wise. Like he played the best.
Yeah.
But he's gotten really good. So his first 2 years, his freshman and sophomore year, nothing to write home about. Average to mediocre, and then something clicked this last year, and he developed and he blew up. He had a great year. He's got good speed, nothing elite, but his awareness and positioning is very good. He's very rangy. He gets to the spots that he needs to, so he doesn't get burned. And he's got a really good ability to track the ball down, and he's got the idea of where the ball is going to be going. Another positive with him is his versatility. He can play corner at a high level, not just when you need him to, but like he can legitimately go and play that nickel corner if you need him to, and have him play man-to-man coverage, and you won't see like a huge difference, which is really important, especially when drafting a player, because that just gives him that one extra leg up. Like, what else can you offer me? And that's something that I would say only like 2 other safeties in this draft have that ability to do so, and Daxton Hill and Kyler Hamilton. The only like weakness is that he's not your freak athlete, which is why he's going to probably end up going late 2nd to 3rd round, which, Mikey, if you want to push forward, that's kind of where we have him projected, where we think he's going to end up going. And that's usually how you get drafted in those 2 rounds, being an elite athlete. He's also not necessarily the strongest, which is not like a knock. Like, he seems to be lost in the running game. Like, if he gets blocked, he's done. Whether that be a running back, a wide receiver, a lineman, if that so happens to be it, which isn't great. And then he also isn't somebody that you're probably going to end up playing in the box. He's really going to be your true coverage safety, and that's where you want him at. But I like him. I wouldn't be happy. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if he was drafted on our team. So
Well, and his size and speed's going to play well for special teams, so that will be a really good way for him to kind of make a difference for him to be on the roster to take up more than one spot on the roster. Good for him.
yeah, yep.
But
Moving on, we've got Dylan.
yeah, Sam Williams. So this is a guy that made a lot at the mock draft. Sorry, not the mock draft. The NFL Combine in Indy this year. He's got really good size. He's 6'4". He's got a good bit of muscle on him at 261. But he was explosive in the Combine. 4.46 is very fast for a defensive edge. And he's not a beanpole running that. He's huge. And he was able to get around tackles just pure speed, and his abilities, because this draft is so heavily concentrated with high-end edge. You would normally see people like Sam Williams taken in the late teens to early 20s of the first round, but he's getting pushed into the second round, maybe even mid-second. But he should be enough of an athlete to get up there. But yeah, for some reason people are just not going for this guy.
So we have him from third to fifth rounder. Pure talent wise, he's a second to third rounder for sure. But he's had off the field issues, which have halted some playing time for him, which is never good. That's usually kind of why you get dropped back. He's very raw. He's a raw athlete. He doesn't really have a ton of pass rushing moves. He's got his two go-tos. He plays very high, which is concerning since he's 260 pounds and he's supposed to be an edge rusher. You usually want to play with some more leverage, and you play high in the NFL, you're not going to get by him. He doesn't use his hands very well. I wouldn't say he doesn't use it, it's just not elite. That's not a strength of his. He's not going to use his hands. It's not a strength. And then he's had multiple times where he's taken poor angles when trying to make a tackle. And then he's got a 4.46, 40-yard dash, which is crazy, right? Crazy speed. It doesn't always translate into his pass rushing. A lot easier to look really fast when you're running 40 yards. A lot harder when you've got 5 yards and 2 seconds to get there with somebody blocking you. Now, those are the negatives. The positive with him is, the guy is like an athletic freak. This guy, pure athleticism-wise, is a first-round pick. Period. The guy's just he's up there with one of the best athletes in this draft. He may have the unrefined and not very polished moves, but he has got a constant motor. He never takes plays off, and you can coach and develop those moves. You can't coach somebody that just wants to play all game long, which is a huge trait for a defensive end. You want a guy like that to constantly go at him. And Jadeveon Clowney for the Browns, he's a great defensive end. He can sack the quarterback anytime he feels like it. He just doesn't feel like it all the time. And you can tell. Once, towards the end of the year when he needed to get his milestone to get his paycheck, to get that bonus, all of a sudden he started sacking people. And then he got those sacks and it was done. So it is kind of a dumb thing, but it's also, it's important to having somebody that wants to win. He is a very willing run defender, which is a good thing to have as an edge tackler. He doesn't miss tackles. He's very coordinated for his size. And he shows flashes that other draft prospects, the edge prospects in this draft, couldn't do, period, even if they tried to. So if you have the patience, if you can, stop the off-field problems that he's had, and you can coach him, and he's not required to be your number one or something, you could have a guy that is, a potential starter to a really good third down rusher for you guys. So I do like him a lot. I think he's underrated. You don't get 13 sacks in the SEC without having some talent. Like, let's be real. So, we'll move on to the fourth one. And Mikey, you got this one, right?
Yep, Nick Cross, safety out of Maryland, 6'1", 215, kind of floats around that range. Obviously, as you can see from the 40-yard dash there, 4.34, dude's lightning quick, but he has that elite track speed, which will translate on the field, obviously. He can cover outside the numbers and in the zone, and his strength is incredible. The dude fills the run gaps. He just loves to hit people. This dude will go and he will hit people. One problem with him is he's not great at man. The way he turns his hips and the way he runs after defenders is a little lackluster. Could use some work. But he's great at zone coverage. He's good at open field tackles. And he's been a starter at Maryland, I think, for 3 years now, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, so he's 3-year starter at the in the Power 5 conference. So he's playing some of the best dudes out there, and with 66 total tackles, 44 solo, also had 3 sacks coming in off the edge there, and 9-inch hands. Wow, it's incredible.
Be a quarterback.
when I was watching Nick Cross, what I saw it reminded me of Ohio at Ohio State. The way that he was playing.
He said Malik Hooker for everybody, by the way, when he cut out. He said Malik Hooker.
I'm cutting out. I'm like way far from my mic. Anyway, sorry. So Nick Cross's highlights, I've just speaking on the highlights alone, look very similar to Malik Hooker's highlights when he was at Ohio State, where he was known as a center field safety who would be ideal for the cover 3, cover 1 scheme that the Seahawks love to run with. What's his face? Yeah. What was his?
Cam Chancellor.
No.
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas, yeah. So I think he has the ability to play in that cover 3, cover 1, and be the single high safety. He's got the speed and the ability to do that. The way that his interceptions are, it just looks like he's able to read and react and get to the ball faster than the wide receiver. So I really like that part of him. But like Mikey was saying, comes down and hits you hard too, and that's completely unlike Malik Hooker, who was a pick. So I think Nick Cross has a lot to like, and hopefully he gets coached up into handling some man assignments, so that way he can be on the field all the time, but or be in any scheme anytime kind of deal. So I really like him a lot.
Like you said, he comes up and hits people. That's nothing more than a fan favorite right there. Everyone loves somebody that's just going to come down and just lay the boom on anybody he possibly can. We have him projected in like the 2nd or 3rd round, just because of how freaky athletic he is. I mean, he's got that potential that no one else has. No one else will be able to just coach a 4.3 40 and the range that he has. But he does have some major deficiencies when it does come to coverage. He's got this specific zone that he can do, and then he plays in the box. But like Dylan said, he really has like no man coverage ability. He's shown that multiple times. He just doesn't look natural in it. He looks more of like a linebacker trying to play there. So if he can develop that, it'd be great. More than likely, he should be a 4th round pick, but I think he'll end up being in the 2nd or 3rd round because how freaky he is. He'd be a good player. And then lastly, we got Dylan.
Yeah, we got James Houston the 4th is what I found on Google. I only know, to be honest, but he's a transfer from, I believe, University of Florida. He goes down to Jackson State University.
Do you know why he transferred from Florida, or no?
I think playing time is probably what it probably was. But I mean, he's listed at 6'1", 225, which is on the smaller end for an outside linebacker. I think Kwity Paye was about the same, being 6'1". Obviously, Kwity Paye did it against Big Ten all the time, and he had good tape and everything like that. He still went later on because of his size, but James Houston's playing in the FCS at this point. Um, so he's playing on not the same competition as if he were at Florida, but he is nicknamed the Sack Master by, is it Deion Sanders? That's the coach there. And they call him the Problem. So like he's got a lot of love from his coach and his university, as everyone should. Going into the draft, their coaches should always be behind them and everything. But this dude, he does it every which way that he's gonna run through tackles. He's gonna run by tackles. He is a king at tackle for losses as well. He disrupts at the line as much as he can. So I would say he's more of a great abuser of other people's size differences and stuff like that.
Yeah, he doesn't miss tackles,
No.
which is a crucial thing for a linebacker. I mean, that's your number one job. When you hit the person, he goes down. You can have all the deficiencies you want, as long as you touch the person and he drops down, you've got a job. He's an outside linebacker for Jackson State. He does a very good job using his wits to get the sacks. He doesn't just bull rush or sprint past people. He's not a freaky athlete. He reminds me quite a bit of Scooby Wright from Arizona. You guys remember him? Middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Scooby Wright the third. The guy just seemed to be absolutely everywhere, always in college, making every tackle, just a freak, and it just didn't translate into the NFL. Whereas I think James has the ability to have that translate into the NFL. He's a little bit more athletic than he is. We have him like a projected 7th rounder to be an undrafted gem. So this basically has New England Patriots written all over it. I mean, Bill Belichick probably has a poster of him in his room right now. But the versatility is why I think that he'll be sought after. He can play outside linebacker. He can rush, but then also he may not be the biggest guy, but he's kind of now becoming your prototypical size for your middle linebackers you have in the NFL right now, those Mike guys. And he has, he's got those traits. He can play the Mike linebacker if you need him to. He doesn't just play outside linebacker.
How big was Jamie Collins, by the way? Sorry.
What was this? 3, 240, 235? On the top of my head. Let's see.
I'm just because that's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off.
No.
Patriots love linebackers that have multiple purposes to use them with. Yeah, 6'3".
Yeah, 250.
But I can see James Houston being, just finding his own special role and being important to a team like that. So
yeah, he's definitely going to be a Patriot.
And this isn't like saying like he's a top player. This guy will be a great depth to a decent starter that will get you what you need done. He won't be a superstar, but he's going to be that guy that you enjoy having on your team when you have him. And we bring up the Patriots because that's kind of where he needs to go. You kind of need to go to a team like that where you've got a good defensive system in place. It's been the same, the Ravens, the Rams, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Colts, the Vikings. One of those teams that have had the same, defensive structure. So when you go in, you know what you're doing and everybody does it and you just kind of fill that role. That's kind of where he needs to go. And if he does do that, I think he could be a really good player for somebody. But I think that's it. Those are the 5 that we have found so far. We gave you guys, a couple guys that could be a 2nd rounder. Gave you guys some mid rounders, and then we gave you guys a couple 6th and 7th rounders. So got a whole variety there.
Yeah, and the more feedback that we get on this one, likely put out more sleepers as we go along. So
100%.
But thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, if you haven't hit the like button yet, the subscribe button, what are you doing?
Yeah, what the heck?
Just hit the like button, subscribe. You watched it all the way to the end.
Just do it.
See you guys.
Yep.
all right,
Peace out.
peace.